Well, a snowstorm is on the way, but it is not for New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. This is going to be a deep south, Carolina, southeastern Virginia snowstorm. AccuWeather.com meteorologist Bernie Rayno. All right, here we go. Frontal boundary. Boy, just an Arctic boundary coming east. All kind of blowing snow yesterday across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Brief warm up in New York City out ahead of this front, but this cold air is charging southwards. It's the first ingredient and the key ingredient, I think, for what is going to be a snowstorm. By tomorrow, this front is going to stall. It'll get all the way down into central Florida. It will not get into South Florida. And then what's going to happen is, as energy comes, storm will be forming along this, and then we'll be moving along this boundary out to sea. So the real question we have is how far north is this snow going to get? Now listen, I think the biggest snowstorm is going to be in eastern North Carolina. I'll show you this. I think there's going to be lesser snows once you push across Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. But from the Carolinas on northbound, I am on board. Now, the real question is how far north is this going to get? I do not believe this is coming to the I-95 in Virginia. I think it's south of Richmond as well. What's going to be happening is, on the satellite, you can't see it really well, but there's energy now coming southward. That's the key piece. Now, as we go through the latter half of tonight, I'm going to show you why I don't think this is getting toward New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. This is by Tuesday. This is the energy we have to focus on back here. Now, notice, for those of you who have been watching my video, the trough is positively tilted. All right, so you need this trough to go more negative. That is, instead of a tilt like this, you need a tilt like this to get the precip back into the cold air, but you'll never see that happen. Watch, here's we go. Here's the energy. That is tonight. That is tomorrow night. I'm sorry. This is Wednesday morning. All right, watch. We're going to watch this piece of energy move in. All right. Now, as we zoom in, notice where the trough is. Still positively tilted. That's why I don't believe you're going to get it back to the I-95. Now, the area you have to watch is right in here. Agreed. This is going to try to get a little farther north, up into Delaware, central Delaware, southern Virginia. I can absolutely see that because you can see this energy. You see? It's out ahead of it. Right in here. This is where you've got to watch that it gets a little farther north. Okay? Watch that swing, and then it's out. You see that? So when you go to here, look at this. This is the area right in here. That's why I can see that happening. Also, and then you see it out to sea. But the way this energy is moving up, you look to the southeast, and that's in eastern North Carolina. That's why I think the biggest impacts are going to be there across the Carolinas. Now, this whole I-20 and I-10, well, south of I-20, I think in Georgia, mostly in south of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. I think it's south of I-20. I really do. But this highest impact, this would include maybe Montgomery, although I think it's south of there. Probably central Georgia, because there's going to be some ice. And then watch yourself in the Carolinas. That's going to be a big problem. Again, this is going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday. I want to show you the upward motion field just to show you why I'm zooming, why everything is coming together. Where you see the yellows and reds is where you have the strong upward motion. Look at it. Eastern North Carolina. Back to Raleigh, too. Absolutely. All right. That's this big, all this yellow and orange shading in here. This is where you're showing the strongest upward motion. Now, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, boy, you're tricky. If that wind comes out of the northeast, you're gonna turn to rain. However, with the storm track going the way it's going, all right, the storm track going along this boundary, I do believe that the wind is going to be enough to the north that you will get snow. So here's what we're going here. All right, I think you're going to see lots of ones coatings to an inch and a half across southern Mississippi, Alabama. I don't think this is a storm for Birmingham. I could see an inch in Montgomery, maybe an inch in Atlanta, but the snows start picking up south of Atlanta, 3 to 6 inches around the Augusta area, Columbia, and then as we get up into North Carolina, you're going to get over a half a foot of snow. And I'm really on board here in eastern North Carolina, probably around the Jacksonville area. The northern and central parts of the Outer Banks, I can see a foot of snow in here, 6 to 12. I think that's right. The Norfolk area, I would say 4 to 8. And, I think that this is right, taking that 1 inch. I can see it to Cape May, but I could see that coming up. I think it's south and east of Richmond, but I think you've got to take it up. In the southern parts of Virginia, north and east of the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. Also in the southern parts of Delaware up toward Ocean City, I could see an inch there. But this is going to be a big storm. I like this 3 to 6 in Raleigh to Augusta, but you start getting up in the Florence, South Carolina, north of Wilmington, probably just north of New Bern, just east of I-95 here. This is where and including the northern Outer Banks toward Ducks, Devil Hills, in here of a foot of snow. A lot of this is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday. I do not believe this is New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C. You have to watch yourself in Cape May up to Wildwood, maybe a little snow, not much, and also eastern Long Island and out on the Cape. We'll have an update later on this afternoon. Any questions, you can ask me them on Twitter and follow me at Bernie Rayno.